Um, Deadly accident. Randall's blamed. Imitated robbery. 2 people. Domestic violence. Crocker's alibi. What was this? Sailor background. No, but how would they cut the rope? How would they cut the rope and tie her up? Okay. What if the sailor was also involved? It was a deadly accident, but the sailor was also involved. We can't do that? We can't do that? The blood splatter doesn't make any sense. The blood splatter doesn't make any sense. Well, actually, no. It would have been. I mean, the captain is the killer. I think this is it. I just think there's a part of the story missing here. Jack Crocker is a murderer, and you'll bring him and his accomplice, Lady Brackenstall, to justice. The murder was committed in self-defense. Jack Crocker defended a woman against the violence and dipsomaniacal man. The mystery is solved. I would choose to absolve, I think, except that I wouldn't hide it from the police. I would just say that the sailor was there visiting the lady. The gentleman, the man, well, not the gentleman, the old man found them, got violent, they got into a fight. But why did they try to cover it up? I guess they got scared. Let me click on this. Yes. I think this is what happened. Let's see if I'm correct or not. Also, I don't know if I failed the challenge. Failed challenging the sailor. Ship's list, sailor's not. Like, you could choose between the ship list or the sailor's knot, but you couldn't do both. What we needed to do is both. Like, there was a sailor at the scene, and you were the one who was on the ship, and everyone else is at sea. Like, we needed like both clues, but you could only pick one, which is kind of weird in terms of like game design.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Barely an hour has passed. Wait, he's nearby. That's fast. And why would he come back so fast? Why would he come back?
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
Alright.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
So we got it
I
right.
admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes,
You would not have managed to protect her.
till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Oh, really? What the? No, stop that. Stop that. I have to mash? I have to mash. Mashing. What the? Alright. Quick time events. No, stop. Whoever made it, stop. Fired. You are fired. Whoever made quick time events, you're fired. I'm gonna
Please
write
forgive
an
me, Captain
angry
Crocker.
letter.
I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, we'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox Dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night.
Not sure why we need to hide that from the law, because he's not guilty of murder. He's a little bit guilty of trying to cover it
Inspector,
up.
I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
Oh, really? You're gonna condemn someone else to murder? This seems. I don't know. I don't agree. The thing is, this is the closest to what I would do, but I wouldn't do this exactly, right? Because he like it was self-defense. The old man attacked her. He defended her, and the guy died. Like it was self-defense. And also, like, defending another person is also the same as self-defense. You are allowed to defend someone else who is in immediate danger of dying. You're allowed to do that by law. So what he did was not illegal. So I don't understand why they need to hide this from the police, because what he did was lawful. He didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't trespassing because he was invited there by the lady. The only thing that went wrong is they tried to cover it up. But that is not murder, right? So the problem with them trying to cover it up, you can say, well, they panicked in that moment, and it's forgivable. Right. Maybe you let them off with a warning, or maybe you give them, what do they call it? Like you find them guilty of perjury, but then you commute their sentence or whatever it is, and you just don't punish them. You say, okay, they perjury, but then they because they panicked, then that's understandable. You don't put them in prison or anything. Let's see what the answer is. The captain is the killer. We found all the clues, and we absolved them. All right, I'm just gonna accept that. It's not quite what I would do, but it's the closest to what I would do. Oh, actually, if we hand him over to the law, would the jury find him innocent anyway? Maybe we should check that. All right. I mean, this is a bit tedious. I wouldn't do this. I'm only interested to see what the other one is. So we're gonna have to watch this several more times. I'm interested in how they write the story because I don't agree with the story here. But let me just choose to condemn the sailor, and let's see how the story plays out. Because I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna agree with this either. I'm gonna agree with this even less than before. Alright, there's this. We're gonna arrest him. We're gonna bring him to justice. But maybe justice will be kind to him, you know what I mean? Maybe he'll stand trial and then they'll decide that he's not actually guilty. Which is fine. Let's see how this works out. So if this ending is closer to what I want, then I would choose this ending. If it's not closer to what I want, then I'll choose the other one. I know it looks like I'm gaming the system, it looks like I'm seeing the endings and then choosing whichever one I like better. It's not that, it's that I have decided what I think should happen. It's just that I can't tell from the choice which one is closer to what I want to happen. Because I don't do the talking and I don't do the decisions, so, like once you make that choice. So it's not that I'm gaming the system, I'm just trying to see if the game has written it in a way that's kind of confusing and not really clear.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is a...
What?
I know. And because...
It's true.
It is...
I admit. I...
Lady Brackenstall.
Mary.
But that makes...
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed.
Till I die. Do you hear me? Now it is time to end this.
Alright, here we go again. Quick time events. And stop. And spam. Alright, spamming. And W. Quick, don't put this in games. No quick time events, please.
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case.
Oh no, if I change
Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
But we don't know. This was murdered by Captain Jack Crocker, who was visiting Lady Brackenstall that night. They staged it as a robbery by the Randall gang. Crocker used his sea knife to cut the bell rope to tie the lady and hid his silverware in the well. He committed a violent crime for which he deserves a condign punishment. No, but that doesn't tell us what happens to him. It doesn't tell us what happens to him afterwards. See, this is not what I want to happen either. I mean, he'll stand trial. I don't think. It doesn't tell us whether the jury is likely to be lenient on him, you know what I mean? But he confesses and he tells the truth. He tells the true story. And the true story is that he killed him in self-defense. I'm gonna I don't trust the game, but I'll just say I'll trust the law. I'll trust the justice system to to uh, to judge him fairly. I don't trust the game to do this. All right, I'm gonna accept this decision. I'm gonna assume that the jury is gonna let him off because it was self-defense. Yes. Interesting. 93. So this was an easy case. 93% chose the same way. 34% made the same moral choice. My first inclination was also to do the other one, so this is not surprising. This ending doesn't tell us what happens to him afterwards. But we didn't, I mean, we quote unquote condemned him, but we didn't really condemn him. We really just handed him off to the justice system, to let the justice system decide what happens to him, instead of having us decide what happens to him. And again, I'm just going to say again that I think if the court and if the jury sees the same evidence that we've seen, then he killed him in self-defense. I mean, they tried to cover it up, but that's not the murder part. The murder part is self-defense, therefore not guilty. Is what I think should happen. Anyway, continue. All right, well, that's the end of that case. I guess in the next video we can read the letter or read the newspaper to see whether he got hanged or not. All right, let me just quit out of this immediately. So when we come back in the next video, we continue playing Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. What an interesting game. I say this at the end of every session. What an interesting game this is. Also, so the blood splatter was an oversight. It was a game design oversight then. Because even the correct answer, they say that the old man was going to attack the woman, and the sailor intervened and killed him. So they were standing up and fighting, and therefore the blood splatter should have been on the walls. Unless they had, unless the sailor had wrestled the old man to the ground, and then got the poker and hit him in the head, then the blood splatter would be correct. So however it is, whatever happened, the guy was on the ground when he was hit with the poker, because that's where the blood was. That's where the blood splatter was. And maybe the fight was more protracted because he would have come down from the bedrooms, but his body had kind of moved around to the fireplace and faced another direction. So maybe the fight was more protracted than it seemed. So they kind of grappled a little bit, and then he was wrestled to the ground, and then he was killed on the ground. That would make sense. Alright, I'm just going to stop recording here. I'll see you in the next video.